Hey guys, it's Jada with Minty Off-Road. This previous weekend, I went to Twin Mountain Offroad Park for the very first time, so tag along with me on my adventure and let's talk about it. Alrighty, let's get started. First things first though, let's talk about which ride we chose to take. This weekend, we chose to take our Polaris Ranger North Star, specifically the Trail Boss Edition with no modifications except for Polaris rock sliders. We got there a little later in the day than we had planned. Friday before we came, we gave them a call and asked them how things worked, and they told us that all the trails are color coordinated by green, yellow, and red. This one is a green trail, so when we get there, we know what the color coordination is, but we start asking questions like what some trails we should go on and things like that, how things just basically work. This is a view of the Twin Mountains, and so they told us to get a map. Well, we didn't get a map, and we hopped on the trail, that very first one you just saw. And so we're going, and they told us to go see Slick Rock. All right, we'll make it to Slick Rock. And we did. We made it to Slick Rock. And we're like, oh, crap, we should have grabbed a map. It'll be fine. We see these razors in front of us, and we're like, we'll follow them. And if it gets too crazy, we just won't follow them no more. All right, perfect. And Slick Rock was so pretty to see. Again, this is towards the end of the night, but this was just a pretty view, and it was even prettier in person during the daytime. Just loved it. Anyway, so like I said, we're going to just follow these guys. Well, the first thing they do is cut off on this trail called Pretzel, which is a red trail. That's specifically for your rock bouncers and crawlers. This is just the video of the guy making it up. I have plenty of him not making it up. And then there's the one guy who just did it the first time. And everyone's like, well, that was lame. So that was the moment we realized that we are not following these guys. They are way more daredevil than we are, and we brought the kids, so not doing that. This trail right here, again, we didn't have a map with us, so we didn't know where we were at. We later learned that this here was a red trail, and I'm honestly very thankful for Ride Command on this ride, because if we didn't have it, we would have been lost in trying to figure out how the heck we get back to camp. We knew we should have listened when they told us to get a map. And we even talked about it. We're like, oh, we should have went and got a map. We'll be fine. Thank goodness for Ride Command. This trail right here, like I said, it turned out to be a red trail. So this is where we ended our night going through this trail. We make it back to camp. And we go get us a map. And that was the best thing ever. Luckily, we found a green trail to get us out of there. Then here we are the next day. Oh my gosh, the view was so much prettier in the daytime. As we go through it, we start seeing some mud, but nothing too crazy. And then just look at those trees. Oh my gosh. And we took a stop. We stopped here and saw these perfect rocks to skip. So we all took turns skipping some rocks. And that was great. And the view was perfect. Anyways, we get back on the trails now with our map in hand, because honestly, we've been lost without that thing. We get on this one right here that's called a creek trail, and it was a red trail, but luckily for us, the water wasn't too deep, and most importantly, these trails, and specifically this creek, had a bottom, which is something we are not used to, and that was impressive within itself. And here's one of the signs perfectly showing how their green, yellow, and red system works. Like, this is saying caution for side-by-sides, but a little dangerous for Jeeps. I also like how wide their trails are. They're great to be able to pass somebody. On this specific trail, we actually did manage to pass a group of rangers that were all stalked. But as you can tell, there's not brush about to scratch the crap out of your ride. It's perfect. The only thing that you do have to watch out for is rocks, but you're on the side of the mountain, so what do you expect? It's not going to be, the best thing ever. We're not getting graded roads. As we're going down the hill, this is actually the mud to rocks trail, and it was so pretty to see. We found a group that we just kind of tagged along. We're like, we'll follow you guys until we can't, and that's exactly what happened. We followed them. And there wasn't anything that we couldn't follow them in. There's a few little mud spots, but nothing is absolutely crazy. So if you're worried about that or having to go through something thick, it wasn't the case by any means. Now, there is some spots that is muddy, as you can see, but there's a perfectly good road to go around. The group that we followed, a bunch of them stopped to play in this long strip of mud that was here. So we had fun getting to watch them do that. So after they get this guy unstuck, we're back to riding trails. And sorry about the poor camera quality on this one because you guys are just looking at my dash, but the whole way down is rough and bumpy and the quality was good. This is Wimpy Lane, one of my favorites that we went on, along with the beer drinking trail, which was a perfect trail for your trail sodas. If you know, you know. A few of the favorites I had was Big Piney. Those trails were super cool. I really liked the fact that they had big, tall pine trees on them. These rocks, though, were atrocious. But, hey, it worked. I had the sound on, you'd hear the whole time. So, we're not going to do that. That's annoying. And, yeah. But we did take our kids with us. And that was also a big plus to us because we love being able to take our kids with us where we go. And this was one of the places we could take them and felt comfortable doing so. Also, I'm sorry, you guys, you have to look at my dash a lot more in some of these spots. It was a little rough, but we stayed mostly on the green and some of the yellow to red trails. This spot right here, there's not one, but 2 signs that say that is a deep spot. And one of these guys, this guy specifically said, it can't be that deep. Maybe he would have believed it if there was a 3rd sign. But it's okay. We all have our moments, and that was his. He was just going to send it, and he did. And he learned real quick that when the sign says deep, it means it's actually that freaking deep. Once they got him out and everybody through that, we went around, obviously. We started our way back. This was the last trail of the day with this pretty scenery going across this creek bed. So pretty. 10 out of 10, recommend. But thank you guys so much for tagging along with me as I take you on a tour with me on my first time to Twin Mountain Offroad Park in Quinton, Oklahoma. Let me know if there's a park that you want me to go check out. Bye, y'all.